Hello everybody and welcome to round one of the last chance qualifier for the Guild Ball World Championship at SteamCon UK 2018.
So 2 spots up to put, messed it up already.
Strong start to day 2.
2 spots up for grabs. One was obviously planned for, the other was because the Italian winner couldn't make it.
Yep.
So 2 to play for. I'm assuming they'll go to first and second, but that's
who knows?
That is a educated guess rather than no knowledge.
Yep.
So we're starting up a bit earlier than the players are starting.
Yeah.
Just to go over a few things. So I think we'll start by going over the last game from yesterday.
Yeah, so if you were watching yesterday, obviously it was a very long day and we got a little bit frustrated.
Yes.
Based on the kind of sloppy play, I think it's fair to say.
It was just kind of the miscommunication or entirely no communication that made it very hard to have any idea of what was going on. And obviously that was kind of the last game that we were seeing yesterday, which is a very important one coming into today and having some idea of kind of gauging what was going on, because up to that point the game had kind of gradually been getting less and less precise as we were going forward.
Yeah.
But the game had been very good. It was a very engaging game, and then it just went with the kind of, as commentators, kind of our job, alongside making sure everybody knows what's going on, is kind of forging that narrative with the game and getting the viewers involved with what's going on, and that is very hard to do when you don't know what's going on.
But also, it was things down to obviously the clocks had gone, so there was like high pressure on players.
Yep.
And for us, and unfortunately you guys couldn't hear at home, players' names were being named incorrectly. I've watched back on people have clipped it in the Discords and whatnot, and what we talk about is like a pass to Iron was a pass to Anvil, and when you're calling your own players the wrong names,
it makes it very
hard to commentate, because you're like, well,
and then you're almost a step behind, because we knew that Iron was knocked down, as did all the people in the chat knew. So they were like, but Iron was knocked down, and we're kind of trying to track it all along as to what's going on, and then while you're trying to kind of commentate on it live, you're backtracking your own thoughts to try and work out what may have actually happened. So ultimately, after all of this and that explanation, this boils down to us wanting to apologise to the players in case we were unduly harsh.
Yes.
But it all boils down to the clock is there to kind of enforce the game finishes at the time it needs to finish, but also it is kind of to increase the tension as the game goes on. Not to make the game get more and more sloppy as it goes forward, and it just kind of all fell apart at the end. But we do want to take this time to apologise to the players. Please don't be mean to them. It is a high pressure thing when you're on the stream. We've seen there is a theme that streamed games always seem to take a long time. They always seem to be the last ones to finish, and that is that additional pressure of knowing that what you're doing is on camera and kind of being able to keep up and track with what is going on. So no hard feelings towards the guys. Fair play. It was a good game. The end was just a bit ropey.
There's also the pressure of the top 8 for that qualified for this tournament today.
Because it was just like a cut, right?
There's a top 8 cut from yesterday's event that has created today's pool of players.
Yes.
And now it's just straight knockout to find our top 2.
Yes.
Well, I'll say straight knockout. It's not really, because your SOS can influence your second place, so getting to the final.
So essentially now you're at a kind of 8-man tournament from however many it was, which does mean, hopefully, no more hold-ups due to Longshanks, because Longshanks can handle 8 players. We hope.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. We have the plot cards.
Game plan cards. You'll get it right eventually. I'm going to leave this, so we've got the box there. We'll leave that there. And hopefully you just have that as your little reminder as to what they're called, maybe. We've both had one now already within the first 5 minutes of getting something wrong.
So, Ronan, can you give us a reminder on player names? Adam and... It's coming up on screen, hopefully. There we are, Adam and Christoph.
Yep.
Farmers and Hunters. And the farmer player for their game plan deck cards. Their lowest is a +1 for Hunker Down. But that's pretty decent for them, wanting to be in their half.
Yeah.
Get back in there for returning.
Which I think is a very, very good card.
+3 and a strong ability.
Yeah, getting in super quick, especially if you end up on the side of that fast ground as well. Just a nice cheeky 4 extra inches on a player coming in.
Midfield general, again, additional speed, but a +3, so quite low so far.
Yep.
Keep your chin up. Use Come On Mate if you're going to be scrumming or clearing conditions. Obviously, that's changed to encourage. That's a +4. And then sell it to the crowd. You can use run the length without spending MP. A +6 at the highest.
So that's the highest is a +6.
Quite low cards altogether, but with strong on-card text.
And then over to the hunters, we've got stick to the plan at a +5. So friendly models gain showboating, which means 1 less MP to make your teamwork action. So 1 dice snapshots or free
repositions is
repositions
huge on that one. And if you're playing Scartha, then that's money in the bank.
Well, even in terms of just using the ball and being able to keep your momentum and using the ball to get those extra 4 inches for threat ranges on whatever you may need, whether that's for a goal run, super strong in a goal run, meaning that you have that momentum left to take the shot that maybe your opponent hadn't expected. Grudge match as a +6. Fullback as a +5. Seize the initiative as a +7 and keep the ball moving as a +4. So overall, a really decent spread. A 4, a pair of 5s, a 6 and a 7. So I think in terms of what we suspect the game plan's going to be, the farmers have the stronger text.
Yeah.
But I think generally looking at the cards, and I think it is kind of starting to come out that outside of corner case situations, kind of the ability to have the choice of whether you go first or second still kind of pips that to the post.
Yeah, I would agree there.
So I think we'd probably both agree that the hunters do have the stronger hand.
Yeah. So looking at cards on the table, we have got, for the hunters, we've got Scartha, Snow, Veteran Minx, Veteran Hern, Cena, and Matagi.
Cena, who is there, and Matagi, who is there.
And for the farmers, we've got Thresher, I believe Peck. Thank you, Ronan. Thresher, Peck, Limited Edition Tater, Zombie Thresher there kicked off, Rookie Windle, Veteran Honor, Plowman. I believe that's everybody.
So I have that down as Thresher, Peck, Tater, Windle, Veteran Honor, and Plowman.
Yep.
Correct.
A nice change up from
so no Millstone.
No Millstone in this one. Nice.
Is she in season 4? Is she still seen as important to the team as she was? Because I was under the impression that she was kind of like, you do not run without Millstone.
in either lineup. So some of the Veteran Honor gained was Cocky or Cockshaw or whatever you want to call it. So by having Honor and Peck, you can spread that condition, ignoring tech around, and that means you're not locked around Millstone.
Right.
However, having Millstone there is good because she is a planter. She has that strong removal. So if you play all 3, you really ignore.
Yeah, you make that really hard to get any kind of degree of
condition where you want it.
Control over. Generally, you're looking at knockdown as being the strongest one outside of corner cases like the Alchemists, as we saw kind of a showcase of what Smoke can do now.
Yes.
So using that to prevent Venin coming in and doing his thing, or reducing the amount of momentum coming in by having that condition passed outside of the aura that she's got, where she gets momentum at the end and various things along those lines. But yeah, it's good to see a real change up in the lineup, because farmers pretty much had their Grange lineup and their Thresher lineup, and that was it, and you didn't deviate from it in season 3. I think this is the first time I've seen Windle in a streamed farmers game.
Yes,
I don't think I'd seen
Plowman
Windle outside of this.
Outside of yesterday, this is the first time Plowman's made it.
So he in season 3 he was not a favourite.
Yeah, I think it's all changed now. It was fair to say he was under the curve.
Right. Okay. Was that because not necessarily what he brought was bad, but because what he brought was just good. Kind of it wasn't needed as much as other things? Because I'm right in saying he basically made it so you got more efficiency out of the markers you were putting down.
Correct.
But you were already plenty efficient enough to have what you needed.
Because he plays 2 with his, so that was a jog up from Veteran Minx to collect the ball, kicked off by Thresher, pass back and put down a trap, whilst their Plowman jog forwards and puts down Broken Earth to make it rough ground for enemy models. Not that Hunters really mind too much.
Is that kind of an aura that sits around him?
Yeah, it's enemy models around him.
Nice. Okay. So that is essentially his version of Foul Loader, right?
Yes,
Apart from Foul Loader was 3
inches and affected everybody.
Oh, okay. So Plowman's is just enemy models. So
Yeah,
you don't have that horrible thing of
my own models
Fangtooth
getting slowed down by this.
And there was another one in Morticians. Was it
Casket.
Casket had it also.
Yeah. He used to be able to do this in the previous version of the rules, where he could make the rough ground aura, and then he also had a trait that allowed friendly models to glide for free. It's like you can condense that into one by just saying enemy models suffer this.
Yeah.
So we saw Veteran Honor there just jog forwards and looks like brought Tater along somehow.
So she has. I wonder if this was the legendary play. Target friendly non-captain model within 4 inches may immediately make a jog.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of legendary plays on the players, Sparse something like Casket Time. Like, if you can get an immediate advantage in the game out of them, take it.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of trying to bring up that line as quick as possible alongside Thresher, like something that I said way back when, which I think irrelevant of the season will always be true for me at least.
Yeah.
There is very little you can plan for throughout a game of Guild Ball.
Outside
but your turn one of knowing what you want, how you're going to kind of unpack if you're kicking or receiving, and having that kind of set in your mind so you use as little time as possible during your turn one is kind of almost rehearsing what your general plan is, and you can adjust slightly as and when is needed. But having a pretty rehearsed turn one for whether you kick or receive just helps you save that clock time, and keeps everything nice and clean.
Yeah. Apologies, I made a mistake on the.
So it's not Matargi.
Character. It's not Matargi. It's Minerva.
Let's see if I can adjust that without losing everything. So it is actually Scartha,
Snow, Veteran Hearn, Cena, Minerva,
and Vetminx. And Minerva is the one that brings the Harrier AoE, right? So we had a discussion yesterday in regards to the Hunters versus Blacksmiths game towards the end of the day, or at the end of the day, where we were saying that it seemed like a mistake to try and fight. Was that game?
Yes, it was.
Or was it Masons versus Farmers?
It was the Masons into Farmers. It felt like Masons should play football because Farmers were outfighting them.
That was the game that I had in mind.
And then we also had the Hunters versus Blacksmiths, where we thought the Hunters should then switch to football because they shouldn't be trying to outfight the Blacksmiths with the lineup they took.
So looking at the Masons versus Farmers game, which was the one that I intended to refer to, we had said that it seemed like a mistake for the Masons to look to fight.
Yep.
Does it feel like a mistake for the Hunters to want to fight? Like is this Windle's fighty? This feels like a even more fighty.
Yeah. So this one, so the Hunters have got two really big burst damages here. Mm-hmm. They've got the Bear, and V-Minx can do enough once someone's weakened a little bit. It is more of a footballing lineup, being said.
Yeah.
And they've got the Minerva healing aura. Once they take someone out, they get a free heal. I think they could potentially go toe to toe. They won't do as well. They're willing to score 1 or 2 goals.
Okay.
But with this
Scartha
team,
is pretty efficient at doing that by herself. If Scartha is still as I remember,
I think we're going to see just that happening now.
I love it. I'll be honest, I generally don't like when there's 4,000 widgets laid out across a table.
Yeah.
But when it's going from a deployment zone all the way to standing directly in front of their goal, I'm kind of fine with it. So,
I think we're looking for...
I believe that's a goal.
Yep, that was a goal. So 4-0 to the Hunters. And just what we were saying, and
then a 4-inch dodge into base contact with the goal.
Yep.
She's just so many easy things to bounce off.
Yeah.
So just to kind of go through and unpick what happened there. So Scartha's got the AoE down.
Yep.
Which I believe will be the Nature's Chill. Which gets to place down the fast ground AoE.
Then you take the snowball, pass off to someone, take the 4-inch dodge, you're in.
And then you're in that, ground. And then just zip
sprint
up
in.
the nice 11 inches.
Yeah, sprint in. So now we see Windle here just buying attacks for 2 damage on Scartha. Players forgetting to kick out the ball. Classic guild ball.
Yep.
And yeah, as people are saying, Scartha's a fantastic pick into farmers, especially these farmers. With their low def, no armor, you get your freedom of playbook.
Yep. But yeah, as said in the chat there, Scartha with a morning jog just to get ready for the day.
And obviously the change to tap in there not being 4 inches for her, but being 3 inches. So has to get even closer. But
so I'm right in saying tapping is basically now half of your total distance.
Yes, yeah. So it means that your big range strikers still get it from 4 inches, and if you're super shot, 5 inches. If there's any other way,
mascots generally 2 inches.
2 inches now rather than having auto tapping, which felt a little bit weird.
Which is very sad.
Yeah. But it also affects my gun. It also affects your passes around.
Yep. So the ball ended up sitting slap bang in the middle of all the farmers, probably fairly happy with that, with them clustered as they are. There was kind of not much of a chance of that not happening in the grand scheme of things.
I'm intrigued to see what the farmers' response is here.
Well, I think they're in a decent spot. The only issue that they've got is whether luck or judgment. I'm going to go ahead and assume judgment, given kind of the stakes of the game. The farmers players that would hunters players that will likely be looking to wheel round towards going to collect that ball have been set up in front of the cluster of farmers players. So now kind of got that two-pronged attack of whether Scartha goes in to try and get the ball, or there are also other players, and you can see what looks like Hearn starting to kind of swing round in the same direction to try and just kind of get that spread across the table. And when you are generally playing for the goals, you want to be spreading your players out so that you can have a decent spread of threats to go and collect that ball again, rather than being too narrow, because it just gives a large area of the table where your opponent can just go and hide the ball.
Have you heard the good word about Veteran Hearn's hypermobility now? So it was the original playtest version, essentially, for Season 3. They got changed because they thought it wasn't good enough. It was too good.
Yep.
Skewered, when you throw it at somebody, you do 3 damage.
Yep.
Because you've done damage, you now teleport to them if they're snared.
Oh, yes.
It was in. It got taken out. They brought it back.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it brings Veteran Hearn and regular Hearn into very different spaces.
Yeah. Yeah.
As was just pointed out in the chat, I am very intrigued to see what happens if some mauling happens in this nicely, densely packed.
Big 2-inch pulls, 3 damage, bleeding everybody.
4-inch push.
Yeah.
Open up those goal lines.
With no armor, low defense, so on a charge, pretty likely to hit that.
Do you think Do you think the farmers are going to continue to press forward, or do you think they're going to back up? Because I do suspect that Scartha has been left up there, because if the farmers player does choose to turn around and go and get it, the ball is then sitting very close to the goal.
Yeah, it's.
Does look like going to press forward though.
Yep, Tater making a charge.
Takes the trap.
Takes 1 damage from the trap instead. So looking for 5s against Minerva. No, 4s and 0, sorry. No defensive stance. Oh, that's a wrap for Tater.
Nice.
Oh. Mow down. Oh, does that clip Vet Minx, I wonder?
does.
Oh, value.
Both knocked down.
Both knocked down. Both take 3 damage from sweep and charge because he wraps onto the 2 damage onto Minerva. So Minerva takes 5, and Vet Minx takes 3. Well set up, well played for charge. I mean, he's probably expecting either just mow down or sweep and charge.
I'm assuming that's
getting
what you're
both is
for.
value.
Yeah.
Interestingly, had Tater not had the legendary jog and just had a harvest marker put down to him, he might have been in a place to countercharge where Scartha would have ended up.
Yeah.
Whereas bringing him forwards to get that countercharge bubble to protect Thresher wasn't needed.
Does show you the value of 1 armor.
Yeah.
So Minerva is 4-0 as opposed to 4-1.
Yep.
4-1, that wrap doesn't happen.
Yeah, and she doesn't take mow down and 5 damage.
Yeah.
She takes mow down or 5 damage.
Yeah.
Or probably takes 6 damage.
Yep.
And
then you've got Tater,
also,
who is slightly protected against this lineup with the charmed female, making him 5s against a decent portion.
Half the team.
Tater now knocked down by the bear.
And 5 momentous damage. And Henry bleeds as well.
So snared and bleeding.
The 4 momentous damage from the bear.
Tater sitting on 6 health.
Will go down to 3 at the end of the turn, unless there's some more damage that can come in. I believe it's all gone. Bear's not in the best place going into next turn, though.
It's kind of centralised to where the rest of the farmers are likely going to be going, so we'll just get kind of caught up in that mess of melee zones, I suspect.
Yeah. I believe that was spent that momentum to heal Minerva there. Looks like Thresher going to come in and exact revenge.
Well, the thing I'm curious about here is the impact Snow might have.
Feral Instinct, how far?
Pack mentality.
I mean, he probably gets knocked down, though, from Thresher before that gets to trigger, if Adam remembers. But I have been talking to Hunters players out in the convention hall today, and they were saying how much they love Pack mentality, and it is now, because the aura's a little bit bigger, they now have a genuine choice between Fahad and Snow.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this was... I think this was just a walker. So...
just out of range of Cena, so he can't attack, but he's not suffering the crowd outs.
Yeah.
Hitting a knockdown Minerva at 3-0. Oh, that's a wrap. 6 damage in total.
And this is on Minerva or Minx?
Minerva.
This is on Minerva. Leaving Minerva on 8.
And another one. 3 damage.
So Minerva left on 5.
Pack mentality, is it directly towards? Or is it?
It is.
Ah, so that's why there's no...
Well, Minerva's knocked down.
Of course, yeah.
The only one of those 3 that isn't is the bear, which I'm assuming is, well, partly because the bear's the hardest to take out of the lot, but...
Yeah. Another swing coming in.
Assuming this will be the killing blow.
2 damage from Mentis. And a dead Minerva.
So that was 3 damage from the previous roll, and then 2 to finish off. So Minerva goes down, 2 points to Adam.
Yep.
And kind of gone, I think, as you'd expect. A goal, and then a goal
followed by a
in
takeout.
return.
Yeah.
So one thing I would generally assume, depending on how much Adam allows Christoph to generate in terms of momentum, even though the cards probably do favour the Hunters player in terms of the values, I think that the farmers are pretty consistently going to be up on momentum because of the amount of momentum you need to spend when going for goals.
Going for goals, keeping your players alive, and the fact that their the farmers' win condition is by generating damage, which generates the momentum, and they're going to be having it. And from the looks of it, bar Cena, they're not going to take too much damage themselves. They don't need to spend it to heal.
Yeah.
That's where the trade-off's going to be. And it's always the same when you play Shark Fisherman. You sort of live on free momentum.
Your momentum goes into, I need enough momentum to be able to go for a bonus time snapshot.
Yeah.
And I want to survive on that much. And if I ever have too much more than that, and I haven't set up that I really need a turn 1, I'm going to use this to heal my players up so that it takes you longer to catch up, essentially.
Yeah. Again, the only times that Shark players don't tend to do that is when they don't have the ball this turn, but they want to go first next turn, so they just generate momentum.
So cards go down, and we will see Keep Your Chin Up, I believe, from the farmers.
And Keep Your Chin Up from... I'm the farmer player here. Do you want to swap?
Yeah, we'll swap over.
Swap sides so we are on the right side. I played Seize the Initiative, so we both get to make a 4-inch dodge.
Yep.
And you played Keep Your Chin Up, so you can use Encourage without spending MP.
Yep.
Guys in chat wanting to have seen Minerva killed top of this turn.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Well, I think it would be primarily looking at pick the ball up, finish Minerva off, go for the goal, the 6 VP activation.
Yeah.
Perhaps even, depending on where it sits, and assuming that it only takes the 1 to finish Minerva off, try and get Minx as well, and then score for 8.
Big old 8 VP activation.
Minx sitting on 9 health from that siding charge from...
Yeah. And a 3-1 with knockdown?
Knockdown 3-1.
Thresher isn't damaged,
No.
So who's dodged where?
But would want to avoid going, I mean, I assume it never would be, but Tater would be... Minx would be at the higher def, because Tater has taken a few licks.
Yep. So dodges made was Tater coming back out of bear range, and Veteran Herm pushing forwards, gaining more from the 4-inch dodge than he does from the rough ground that turns into fast ground for him.
I find the Tater dropping back interesting, because I would have thought Tater would have gone sideways round that to give the crowd out onto Minx, assuming that's where he's looking at going, to kind of cancel out the cover.
Yep. I think we also must have missed that Tater got stood up at some point.
Was Tater knocked down? Knocked down by the bear?
No, he wasn't. I'm lying.
I think the bear just did damage.
Just damaged him. We did take his bleed damage, though.
And Scartha goes down to Windle.
Yep. Good first activation there.
So that is 4 all.
Nice play to leave Scartha on enough health. Jog forwards, picks the ball up. And is looking for a pass. 2 dice. Good old Windle's been doing keepy-ups in the yard.
Yeah.
And it is successful because of the tap-in pass.
Yep.
And Honor makes the 4-inch dodge.
Kicks the 4-inch dodge over into that cover. Nice activation from Windle. Very efficient. Means that terrifying Thresh is still up there, and I'm not sure if the bear can get Thresher. I wouldn't imagine can get Thresher gone in one activation.
Not with 3 swings. And with maybe with a Harrier and Snared.
I'm not convinced that
Thresher would still be there after 2 activations.
Yeah. As soon as that Harrier goes down, he's just like, I'm going to go and get Hearn. I'm going to go and hit something that isn't near this.
Yeah. Looks like the bear's looking for a jog over the obstruction. Looks doable. Good old stepper widgets, nice and clean.
Clock's pretty even.
Yeah. So the bear walking to where the proxy base is. Just making a jog.
Takes an attack on Tater. And goes for a counter attack.
4-0. Takes a knockdown.
So I think the counter attack was entirely declared to force the knockdown.
Forces a knockdown, doesn't it?
Or force a result that wasn't damage.
Yeah.
takes four momentous damage, which I believe leaves Tater on 2.
I think he got healed by the looks of it there.
He looks like he's on 6. Yeah, so Tater did get healed at the end there.
I think he... Yeah, he must have been healed. Bonus time the next attack. Oh, wow. A wrap. 6 momentous and 1 momentous, so Tater dies. It is 6-4 to the Hunters. Momentous takeouts.
That bear's pretty terrifying now, huh?
It really is. Help you, God help you if you're snared.
Yeah. I really like that playbook construction. I really like the
1, 2, 3,
whatever
4, 5,
I roll
6.
is how much damage I'm doing.
I mean, you're a bear, that's what your life is.
Yeah, I really like that.
Depending on how hard I hit you is how hard I hit you. And looks like a heal up to full on Veteran Minx.
Yep.
So just for what it's worth as well, as an interesting talking point, players did swap sides.
Okay.
Hunters farmers kicked off and picked the opposite side to give themselves that fast ground on return.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe to have a few more bits of cover that they can stand in and deny to the...
So this is Plowman on her. He takes the 2 damage.
Yep.
So Hearn on 18 of 20. Harvest marker going out. Do you think Hearn's going to be looking... I think that may have been just to engage him.
Yep.
I think Hearn's kind of the only real threat going to get that ball. Which player was it that got the faster player coming back on? Was that Hunters or was that Farmers?
That's the Farmers.
Farmers, right?
Farmers got the...
Yeah, get back in there. Nice fast point scoring.
Yeah.
So this is the measuring out of the goal run from Hearn.
Yep. And Plowman got to place 2 harvest markers down there because of his fertile soil aura.
Which he's still... That was like his party piece in Season 3, right?
But he couldn't plant himself, and now he can plant himself and bring 2.
Yeah.
He becomes really efficient.
Yep. So basically checking for, I'm assuming, wander around to there, staying in the melee zone, have a go at a skewer on...
uses last light and skewered.
Yep.
So we can choose to spend momentum instead of influence to do it.
So
it's successful. So 3 damage.
Teleports over there due to lunar eclipse. Then has a swing on honor.
Yep. So she's in cover. The dog gives you a -1 when attacking honor, which effectively is her extra armor, and Windle engaging as well. So it's going to hit Windle again, I believe, just to try and get out of that engagement.
Yep.
Four hits.
So it was snared from the skewered.
Yep. Takes momentous knockdown.
And then
buys
buys
the next
an
attack
over on honor.
Honor at -2. He bonus times it because he has a momentous tackle on 2. 3s and 1.
And gets
just 1 hit after armor.
1 success.
Oh dear. Takes a momentous push.
Just to drag out of the cover.
Drag out of cover.
And buys the last one. So was obviously hoping for the tackle there.
Yeah.
That'd have been a really nice play.
Yeah. Just shows Hearn's mobility as well.
Yeah. And being able to really leverage off the...
skewered.
Yeah.
And there it is, of course. Classic Guild Ball results.
Yep.
I'll miss the one on once. I'll just hit again because I've got 1 influence left. Oh, I hit my full playbook. Near enough. Takes momentous knockdown.
Momentous knockdown onto honor.
Nice.
Just forcing that spending.
Direction 3, distance 4. So flies off to the side of the pitch. Fine for Scartha to come back on next turn and collect.
Yeah. One makes it very difficult for Honor because Honor's now knocked down in Hearn's melee range, so it's kind of you can't go and get that. But no, that'd have been it's a really nice demonstration here that Christoph seems to have a very good understanding of what everybody in this lineup is built to do. He knows why everybody's in there.
Yeah, everyone has a place.
Yeah.
We've not seen Minerva's yet.
On the sideline, apparently.
The bait.
I can't help but think that she's almost the carrot. Like she's probably the easiest model in the team to dispatch. If you don't deal with her, you've got Harriers to worry about, so you kind of need to. But if you don't, I'm primarily looking for goals. So, like in a situation where I assume Christoph's looking for one more takeout and then the goal, he'd have been really happy if he'd got that goal then, because then he can just focus everything. I would assume would have been on Windle, where you just have Hearn and the bear go in, and Windle will just be removed.
So that was a knockdown dodge from Thresher with his first attack, I believe. And then second attack does 3 down to 2 damage. Third attack, 3 damage down to 2.
I believe we've seen her on 17. I think this is the first damage.
With a dodge.
This is the first damage that Cena's taken.
Three damage down to 2. And what should be the last attack? Unless you can take 6, no.
Yep, so.
Knockdown dodge, 3 damage, 3 damage dodge, 3 damage. 3 damage dodge. Takes a jug away over to Hearn.
For my money, this is a 6th attack, but I'm not sure.
That's what I've got in my head as well. It looks to be knockdown dodge.
Cena, from what I can work out, is on 13 health.
Yeah, which has to be 4 swings after the knockdown dodge.
Yeah.
Because 3, 3, 3, 3, thereabouts.
All down to 2.
All down to 2
so it'd
is
be 8 damage.
8. I guess both players seem to be happy with it. I think it was just a missed declared attack, but not removed influence.
Yeah.
And Hearn there suffers a knockdown because of it.
Yeah. Another quick catch up in chat because I have been neglecting that. Let's have a look what's going on. I'll do the customary where are our chat at? Where are you watching from?
Yeah,
it's weekend now, so I'm guessing.
It was really interesting yesterday because people were watching from work and telling us where they were.
Yeah, and telling us to be quiet, and then we shouted. I'm very curious as to how many people are going to be working today. Definitely seeing some familiar names from yesterday, so that's always good.
So we've had a charge declared here by Veteran Minx, and a counter-attack and defensive stance declared by Plowman. And Vet Minx takes a momentous dodge.
So you wasted some of your momentum.
Yep.
Can we see where the Hunters players keeping track of momentum? Is it whatever it is in the middle of the goal?
Black pips on the goal is the Hunters' momentum, and weirdly the Hunters' influence on the Farmer's side is the momentum he has.
Yeah.
Just to really confuse viewers and us.
So we've got Huggy, Belgium, back from every stream we ever do. We've got Cosmic Poet from Florida. We've got, also returning from yesterday, we've got Rantheron, who is the one that we told us not to say anything too loud, so we intentionally said things louder. But not at work anymore. So confirmed, was at work. We might have got into trouble.
It's
Please
now
let us know if we did. Yeah, now he's got all the time in the world to watch. Yeah. We've got Von Woozle from London, the double cheese from Iowa, Rawny from Norwich, Warmaster Gir Warmaster GIR from Oregon, just a Deskit from New Zealand.
Cut back into the action. Veteran Honor walked over, or clear conditions, walked over to Veteran Hearn, hit him and got the momentous push.
Right.
And is getting dragged into melee zone.
Now in the danger zone. Which he can get out of, not easily, but can get out of with one skewer to anyone that's not in the middle of that and just boing. Thank you very much to those of you tuning in when you could be doing literally anything with your free time at the weekend and are choosing to spend it with us.
They want to be at SteamCon and they can't, so they're getting the best they can.
God, I can only apologise for how lacklustre that is.
Yeah. Do be sure to clear your calendars for 8 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
Because we will be
That's 8 p.m. GMT, for those of you curious, is the time zone.
Because we'll be doing the keynote stream. Ronan's grimacing because we need to get internet into that other room.
Uproot everything.
I have like 75% faith that Ronan will be able to fix everything.
The thing that I have the least faith of is having a stable internet connection once we're moved from where we are, because it's still not entirely stable where we are. So just working out the...
what plot cards are going down? Game plan deck cards.
Still the game plan.
Game plan deck cards. Forever in my mind, it's plot cards, deal with it.
Wrong way around, mate. The information's on the other side.
Yeah, but I want to see what play I'm making. Duh.
Oh, okay. Is that all the same?
Yeah. We're not going to make different artwork. Do you know how much that costs?
It's more that forces you to need sleeves.
Yeah.
Because then it actually, if someone studied them to work out what the backs were. So those have gone down. Can we cut to the other camera to see if we can get a better view of what they were?
Nope.
So sell it to the crowd. Sell it to the crowd on this side. So it was the +6 on this side, but losing an influence.
Looks like a +5 on this side, which is fullback. The first time a friendly model declares a charge while within 8 inches of the edge of the pitch, it costs 1 less influence. Oh, hey, Scartha, where are you coming back on? Within 8 inches of the edge of the pitch. How lovely for you.
It'd be weird, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We see Tater here returning to add into the dog pile and collect the ball.
So, been requested for a small spoiler from the SteamCon. That's all of this, from the keynote. Let me have a ponder. Let me have a think. Small spoiler. See, when we go into planning those keynotes, we don't really plan in a huge amount of spoilers because we've learnt that you can't rein Matt Hart in from giving them.
Yep.
So we just don't build any in so that we don't give twice the amount we want. You just don't plan for any, and then Matt will give probably around the right amount that you were hoping for. Is Ronan running away?
Our pilot, Ronan, has run away. He has left a note that says, desperate for a wee, change score using left side of Mac's screen if necessary. I'm going to leave it until he gets back because I don't want to touch anything.
And ruin it.
Like, if it's just a laptop with a very obvious input, that's fine. True Wild West adventure, just play Red Dead Redemption 2. I could happily talk about that all day.
Yeah, that's where this all started.
Oh, really?
Van Woozy bringing up Red Dead. What a game.
Oh, love it.
Question of how much HP Hearn is on. I've only got him marked as taking 2 damage because I'm fairly certain all of the attacks he's been taking have been repositioned.
Yeah,
he got knocked down by Thresher and then repositioned. I don't think any extra damage was done, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Pretty sure he's not taken much damage yet. I'm sure he will do by the end of this, though.
Yeah. Well, he's currently the main threat. Interestingly, Scartha coming on this side opposite to all of the Farmers players.
I was intrigued by that as well.
Well, I'm just worried that because she comes on pretty flimsy, she kind of returns to the pitch on 7 health. Just kind of...
So Windle eats the harvest marker.
Takes 4 damage.
5 damage from Mentus. 9 left on Hearn.
He was right.
Bonus time the next attack.
So 8 damage, so 5 and then 3 on the wrap. Yep. Leaving Hearn on 1.
And he dies. The score is 6-6.
Yes, it is 6. Are you going to dare to try?
I'm going to dare to.
You're going to dare to try. So yeah. Giblin's leaving briefly to see if he can work this out.
Oh yeah, it's really easy.
To see if he can cost Ronan his job. He's done
Look
it.
Look at that.
He's done it. So Ronan can just stay
why
gone.
do we pay him? Why do we pay him?
What's he here for?
I mean, if
it can't be for his pretty face because he's never on the camera. No. So I don't. We'll have to have
he could literally just set it up.
Yeah,
and then leave it for us to do. Yeah.
We'll have to have a talk.
There we are, cost saving. That's one we got for next year's SteamCon.
Well, we can get him to go and get his coffee and stuff in future when he's just sat there.
Yeah. He's been having us on for the past 2 years.
Yeah. When we said you could do it with your feet, I'm not sure I was entirely wrong.
Hello?
Speaking of rinsing staff, we haven't done anywhere near enough rinsing of Mr. Margetson.
No, I know. Have you seen the photos of him in Gubbs? No. There's a couple of photos of him in Gubbs. You should go on there and just rip into him a little bit. He stood next to an empty glass container that says number 1. I mean, there's potential there.
There is some potential there.
I can't think of it yet.
It's a trophy for when Steve wins his first game. So some damage coming in from the bear here. Ooh, takes the mauling on the ploughman.
3 damage. The 4-inch push if he wants to take it directly away.
Does trigger the marker.
Just triggers the trap
so
though.
Takes an additional 1 damage.
Additional 1 damage. Is now snared. Very clever. I like it.
Knocked down and snared. And bleeding.
What a valuable momentum that is to remove conditions.
Yep.
That's the other thing I find, like stacking conditions on someone if they've got no way of doing it.
Yeah, I much prefer spreading them thinly.
Yeah. Plus 1 extra dice because knocked down and snared.
And does bonus time.
And a bonus time. He wants a big result here. Take away the 1s, take away the armor.
It's not a great roll.
6 hits, full playbook. 7 damage from Mentus.
Because snared, so he gets the extra 1 damage.
Yep. Leaves him on 8 health by the looks of it.
I think it's 8.
And then heals himself.
And the bear is on 14.
People in chat saying they think Christoph, sorry, forgot about the dog's dodge ability. Peck, use the heroic, delightful.
They can all go away.
Ronan's back
and then
for all the use he is.
Puts Cockshaw onto Ploughman. So getting rid of all of those conditions and then putting Cockshaw on to try and prevent any more of them.
Scartha throwing herself in to the mix here. It's back to a 4-on-1. And he defensive stance and declares a counter-attack. So a 5-1 with a pretty decent counter-attack if memory serves.
Yep.
Oh!
I was hoping for 4, I'm assuming for that non-momentous not there. So it takes
a momentous single dodge.
Dodges to the side. Got the option for the snowball pass to get back in.
-2 to the dice roll. Looking for 5s. 1 is enough there for a single push. Away.
And then I'm guessing
snowball pass to
dodge back in.
Is successful.
Dodges back in.
Dodges back into base. Next attack coming in. 5 dice. 6 dice because of crowd out. 3s and 1 now. 3s and 1? Yeah. Why didn't he get to 5s and 1 earlier?
He was 4-1 because of the defensive stance. I know that much.
Okay. Maybe I misheard. 3 damage. One damage.
He's planning on 4, I believe. Oh no, he's got 1. Planning on 1.
I think we missed a 3 damage attack.
Yeah.
Takes cold snap.
Cold snap.
He gets to place it within 6.
So Plowman goes. So
just uses it.
8 to Christoph, and I'm assuming dropping it on so it hits the rooster as well.
Yeah.
So Peck also taking 2 damage and is snared.
Interesting. I don't know how worthwhile that is. Oh, I guess actually, if you set up the kill for the for Peck and then take a snowball goal, it's effective too. Yeah, I quite like that.
Right, yeah. Kill the mascot, score a goal with the snowball to get 2, and then you 1 takeout away from closing it out.
Yeah, I like it.
Really nice play there. Testing to see how much Adam knows of
the Hunter's playstyle. It's again. I was talking to Jonathan Mitchell in the hall. He's been playing Hunters and he's in the final 8 as well. He's up against Jared McGraw this round, and he's been saying he's been doing it a lot where he'll have like Chaska walk up to the mascot, shoot them, kill them,
and then Scartha
goes, and later on in the game when it seems like
just they're trying to hide the mascot, and you're just like, well, there's my other one.
Snowball. Yeah.
Also, snowball's really good for just breaking those ties when it gets close on clock.
Yeah, just like I'll score.
I'm now 1 up on you.
Yeah.
So that was Honour's activation there, putting Copshaw onto Thresher, then popping down the harvest marker there.
So base to base with the chicken.
And 1 attack.
It has
2 on
2 influence, yeah. Takes 2 momentous damage.
He's Peck on 2.
And there's a dodge from pain response.
Yep.
And again.
And 2 momentous damage, which I believe removed.
I believe it was healed by Honour.
Oh, the initial damage from the cold snap.
And then spends 2 to heal Cena for more health. So Cena back on 18. No, I agree with chat. I've not seen any real misplay yet in this game that have just not rolling a tackle with Hearn.
Yeah, well, that was the only real, I guess, misplay was that the kind of he'd done the skewered and then remembered about the dog additional -1, cutting the dice down, which meant he only really had 1 stab at the tackle because he needed to deal with the crowd out from Windle.
Yeah. So that was a
pass, I believe.
Yeah, but from who to who?
Tater to... So Tater picked up the ball from the edge of the pitch, passed it to Thresher, and then Thresher's just sitting on the ball rather than taking a dodge.
It's just to keep the momentum.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 1, and any momentum lead you can go into before Thresher's activation is good. And Minerva heals for there, and the bear confirmed to be on 18 health.
So is that Minerva healed for 4 or to full? That Minerva's looks clear now, right?
It looks clear, yeah.
So Thresher going to go and do some work on, I'm assuming, the bear?
Yeah, he has to take the knockdown if the counter-attack is declared. And it picks up this momentum.
Well, I'm guessing there was a counter-attack declared.
Yep. It just forces that it's a knockdown rather than more damage. 3-0. It's got the option for it.
Takes the knockdown.
I mean, the thing is, if the knockdown misses there, it's the right thing to do. He has a double push on 1.
Yeah. Dodges back, takes the trap.
1 damage and snared. Onto Thresher, just clearing traps ready for next turn. Swinging again. 3 damage down to 2.
So I think the only thing that hasn't really been kept up with particularly well for what I'm aware, unless they're being cleared and we're missing it, is the snares that the traps are inflicting.
Yeah. I think Plowman had them and he died, and then the cold snap got it onto Peck there. I assume.
But where Thresher takes that trap should be snared, right?
Yeah.
The traps are 1 damage and snare.
Yeah. Three damage down to 2. Bear looking about 12 health or so.
I've got down as 14. 10.
10 left, confirmed. Spending 2 to heal the chicken.
So I'm actually starting to think there if Cold Snap was ever marked, because if the chicken was just healed with that, unless Honor's got a way of healing that isn't spending the momentum, then I'm fairly certain that they're just the 2 damage from that Cold Snap wasn't marked.
Yep.
Because the chicken, by my maths, has taken 6 damage, and that's the first time it's been healed.
Yep.
So I think that's the
first misplay.
That's the first misplay, yeah. Unless I'm misunderstanding Cold Snap. Position an AoE within range, models hit, suffer 2 damage, and so you should have taken 2. And then there were 2 attacks from Minx doing 2 damage each, so chicken should have been gone.
Christoph here using keep the ball moving for +4 and friendly models gain +1/+0 kick.
Oh, can we cut to the other camera quickly, Ronan? See if I can catch the.
It's a +3.
Is it a plus? It's a +3. Looks like. Is that Hunker? No. Get back in there. There it is. Get back in there. So this is the +2/+2 and return into the pitch.
That's a +2/+2 we're returning.
So there's 1+1 and 2+3s left in hand at that point. So
Christoph has a +5 and a +6 left in hand.
The +5 and +6.
So Christoph
to close it out with that.
Has the strength of he's played his low cards.
Yeah.
He's got the strength going into the final 2.
Yeah.
I say he's played his low cards.
So
he's played a 5, a 7, and a 4.
I suspect you're going to see Cena taken out and then a goal from Thresher here to close out the game for Adam is what I'm expecting to see.
What the hope is. I mean, he's got 10 health left.
Yeah, Cena's only got 10 left.
Let's have a look at Thresher's card.
That's plenty doable for Thresher while the bear's knocked down.
But does he have enough? So his 4's not until the high.
I don't think he's legendary yet. Oh wait, not legendary. Is it the Don't Fear the Reaper?
Don't fear the ... Yeah.
Is there any harvest? That harvest
there
marker
is a harvest
that
marker in
down,
range.
So I'm guessing it will be a
3 damage from that. Yeah, that enables it, and the legendary play as well for the +2 attack. Is that still a thing? No.
It may use a character play without spending influence.
They ain't tough. It's 3-0 anyway. Doesn't matter. So it was 3 damage down to 2. 3 damage down to 2.
I believe leaves Cena on 6.
6 left. Four damage, momentous. Three damage down to 3 left.
So 3 health remaining on Cena.
Fear the Reaper
Removes
kills the
marker,
bear, puts him on
removes
to
the bear.
8. And we got a sprinting shot coming up. Oh, I think he's tracked his scores wrong. From what the players just said there, Christoph said right up to 6.
Oh.
Oh no. Yeah, Christoph saying he's at. Sorry, not Christoph. Adam. Adam is saying he's at 6, and his opponent.
Oh, and Christoph
correctly saying no,
you're
you're on 8. Oh, good, very good play from Christoph there. And then he says, "Oh, okay, well, I'll go for the goal then."
Yeah. No, that was
good, really good.
nice sporting play there, being like, no, you're on.
No,
you're on 8. And I'm aware that I'm telling you that basically you now, assuming you can make this dice roll, you win. But I'd rather you win than I win through. Like lying.
Tap in range, scores, and that's the game. Well played by Adam to close out the game there with a big 6-point activation and bring himself back into it. And amazing sporting play from Christoph in the last chance qualifier final to say, no, you're on 8 points, you can score and win here.
Great game. Just a really good game. Really enjoyable game to watch. Both players knew, kind of linking all the way back to the first game yesterday, both players had clearly put some time into practicing, making sure they knew what their players did, making sure they knew why their players were in their lineup.
Yeah.
I think you saw the Hunters winding up having to go far more damage than it could. I was quite surprised at the amount of damage that they could put out with the lineup they had.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was Scartha and Hearn are primarily here to get me the goals I want.
Yeah.
Everything else is
for
getting takeouts. Didn't see one Harrier marker, so my only questionable choice would be Minerva, because I don't feel like the reason
you're not
using
using
there was leveraged at all.
No, it did seem odd that there wasn't a harvest marker, a Harrier AoE placed at any point.
Yeah.
Just because even placing a Harrier AoE deters you from wanting to enter that bit of the pitch.
Yeah. And it's always interesting that my so far 2 moments of SteamCon came from that game. Number 1 was Scartha's morning jog.
Yep.
Like, that was just so funny to sit there and so one AoE has been laid out, and now you are going to wander all the way up the pitch and not interact with any other model and score. To me, as someone that loves goal scoring runs, that was really fun to see. And then the other being the bit of sportsmanship at the end, which is always good to see.
That's been my favourite moment so far of SteamCon, is in the last chance qualifier in the first round being like, you're on 8, bud. You're on 8, you can score.
But it was just a really fun game, and it was a really fun game to call, because both players were so calm the whole way through. Like at no point they were both so calm. Both players very good at explaining what they were doing, and if there was a dice roll and there was a wait a minute, what very clear explanations as to why everything had happened. No tilting, no anger. It felt. I don't know if you agree, but that felt like just a nice fun game at a club against someone rather than like a tournament game. It felt like a very.
What's anything been said in chat? Kudos to Christoph for being a true gent. Yeah, I agree. I'm certain there are some players out there who would have kept stum.
Yeah. So we've also had someone saying that the interesting choice of V Hearn over Chaska. I think V Hearn is a very good pick. I think for how the game ended up going, and hindsight is always 2020, maybe Chaska or JK over Minerva.
Over Minerva, I think V Hearn was what they needed and wanted, because if that tackle had come off and that shot had gone in,
a goal and was
it's game over because he got to 8.
A slight slip of memory in terms of what dice he'd be rolling going into it, which kind of, it didn't completely undo the plan, but altered the reliability of it. If that had gone off, then V Hearn easily makes up his place, but with that happening, he ended up not really doing a huge amount. But in the same vein, if V Hearn hadn't been on the table at the point where Scartha got taken out, which is, the ball is kind of just dead, and then you're stuck in a fight against a team that's very hard to win.
Yeah, I think the only sort of big misplays of the game is not placing that Harrier token down at any point. It doesn't even have to hit anyone. It can be like, I can see you want to scrum in this area, so I'm going to place this down between our teams, and if you come in, then...
so the only real misplays I can think, casting my mind back, which aren't necessarily misplays, but number 1 was the using Honour's Legendary in turn 1 to get the Tater Jog up, meant that there was no counter charge against the goal run. Number 2 was the potential 6 attacks that came out of Thresher, but I'm not sure, that may have been a Don't Feather as a 3 damage rather than an attack. I may have just missed where that damage came from. And then the marking damage on the Cold Snap
Yeah, which would have killed Peck.
On Peck, which ultimately I don't think affects the game.
No,
because I still think it gets closed out, but irrelevant. I'm not sure if that was quite tracked right.
The thing is, you never know, because that extra point of momentum that's generated from the kill
may have turned.
Is the whole butterfly effect of like, oh, I can heal someone else now, and now I win the initiative, so I go first and go with the bear and kill whatever.
Yeah, but nevertheless, super good game to start
really
off
good fun one.
Hope you folks enjoyed that at home. We'll be back at, is it
12.
1 o'clock for the next round?
1 o'clock for the next round.
1 o'clock for the next round. So we've got a nice 2-hour break.
Go get some lunch.
A nice quick game.
Nice quick game.
Go enjoy a few hours of your weekend. Catch us back. Oh, we haven't plugged the code once yet.
Boom.
So we do have the TeamStream 20 code.
There it is.
There we are. You got the right side and everything.
Yeah.
So we do have the TeamStream 20.
I know where I need to point.
We do have the TeamStream 20% off code off any Guild Ball at store.steamforged.com.
But
in the interest of giving you all the information, we do have Black Friday coming up on the 23rd of November, where we will also have some offers, I believe. I've seen some photos flying, hovering around of the offers, some of the offers that will be available for Black Friday from the flyers that we have promoting the early access of that to attendees.
SteamCon.
Those Black Friday deals will be available to everybody come 23rd of November. So if you want to make the biggest saving, depending on what you're looking to buy, we do not hold it against you if you want to hold off until Black Friday, but that 20% code there is there if you wish to support us.
Our WTC code did really well, and thank you for everyone who supported us on that weekend. Guys back in the office were super pleased with the amount raised by it. So,
and if you do pick up something using the TeamStream 20 code, let us know in the chat so we can give you a shout out.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll catch you in a few hours around about 1 o'clock for the next round.
We have time to go get lunch properly for once.
We have time to go get some food. Catch you later, guys.
See you later.